Hello, I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to run through some colorwork knitting patterns that I've been eyeing up recently. I did a video almost a year ago, I think, talking about my favourite colorwork sweater knitting patterns, but I've added quite a few to my watch list since then. And I also have some patterns for stuff that aren't sweaters on this list. I think of all the intermediate or advanced knitting techniques that can add more interest and detail to your work, colorwork is the easiest of them, in my opinion, certainly easier than any sort of cabling or lace work. But I think sometimes it can be hard to find a pattern that suits your personal style because most patterns are very traditional. There's a lot of like Fair Isle colorwork sweaters that are really beautiful but don't really fit my personality. And I think this first knitting pattern will give you a flavour of the type of style I'm interested in. This is the Sausage Dog Scarf by Devout Hand. I think I saw this scarf originally on the pattern designer's TikTok or Instagram and I immediately fell in love. This scarf is done with double knitting, meaning that it's completely reversible, and it's knitted with DK weight yarn on 4mm needles. This is such a cute pattern. This sort of pattern is the reason why I knit. It's so unique, it's so eye-catching, and you get to say that you made it yourself. There's also a crochet version of the scarf if you would prefer to crochet over knit, and there is also a bunny version. This next knitting pattern is a free one. This is the Inca Sweater, and the pattern was written for Minas del Uruguay, which is a yarn brand. This design is so intricate, but it's knitted on 6.5mm needles, which is a pretty big needle, so even though the colorwork design looks very intense, it still promises to be like a fairly fast project. The recommended yarn weight is worsted and it's available in 8 sizes. The sweater is a drop shoulder fit, which I always prefer with any kind of colorwork. As well, this isn't really colorwork, this is just stripes. But when a design is going across the chest, I much prefer that it like falls this way. I think these downward lines as opposed to upward lines in a raglan give a more like relaxed and baggy sort of fit. If you like the look of the Inca Sweater but you are looking for a more fitted raglan type of garment, the Rumble Raglan by Lydia Morrow might be the exact thing that you're looking for. Every single time I make a pattern video, I have people recommending Lydia Morrow's patterns in my comments. I haven't yet knit one myself. I really want to, but everyone says that they are the best written patterns that they have ever experienced, and they are very size inclusive as well. There are 9 sizes available for this, but that encompasses UK sizes from 4 to 34. This is a fingering weight pattern, and what I will say about the Ravelry page for this pattern is if you are ever looking for a color combo inspiration, look at the projects for this pattern. They're stunning. I don't want to put pictures of random people that aren't pattern designers or testers in my video, so you'll just have to go and see it for yourself, but I promise it's worth it. Before I go into the rest of the patterns, I have got 9 more for you. I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Craftsy. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative. Craftsy offers over 2,000 classes at all skill levels in fibre arts like knitting and crochet, but also other crafts such as drawing, sewing and cooking. I've been wanting to branch out in my knitting to start modifying patterns more, and I really want to explore freehanding my own pieces, but it feels very daunting. I've been taking Craftsy's Knit to Flatter class with instructor Amy Herzog, and it's been an incredible resource for me. It talks not only about how to shape and modify your knits so they fit your body perfectly, but also recommended amounts of ease at different parts of your body to aim for. The entire course is about 3 hours long and it has demystified so many concepts in knitting for me. Recently I knitted a sleeveless top that didn't give much instruction in how to do the waist shaping, and I ended up with a garment that had a way more loose and relaxed fit than what I was originally aiming for. I wish I had knitted that garment after I'd taken this class so that I could have modified it to be a perfect fit for me. If you want to up your knitting game or explore another hobby, the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description will receive a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. This offer is valid for new members only. This next pattern is by Laura Dalgard, who is the designer for the famous Nordic mix sweater, but this is their Vermouth sweater pattern. The pattern also includes a modification to make it a vest, and this sweater is made with the Intarsia colorwork technique. This motif reminds me of a lot of art prints that I've been drawn to recently, of like still life scenes. I also love that the back of this sweater features the back of the scene, so we see the other side of the wine bottle in it. The sweater is available in 4 sizes and it's knitted on 6mm needles. The recommended yarn is a strand of mohair held together with a strand of merino, so I think that's like a light worsted weight. Next up is the Interval Sweater by Allen Knitwear. I know I mentioned earlier that colorwork to me is easier than cables, but what if a sweater had both? I think personally, I think it's beyond my patience level. I think this would take a very long time to knit, especially as it's knitted on 4mm needles and I think roughly DK weight yarn. But if you are looking for a big project, a big labour of love, this pattern might be the one for you. It reminds me of those like marshmallow sweets. What are they called? Flumps? Were they flumps? Did I make that up? It doesn't sound right, but then UK confectionery has such weird names that it probably is. This sweater is available in 12 sizes. It's got a bit of a drop shouldered fit, but it's also quite close fitting. And yeah, this is a gorgeous piece. Next up, I have a few patterns, all from the same designer, Studio Clara. And let's start by mixing up a bit and not talking about another sweater. I think this is the only crochet pattern on this list, and this is the new Tote on the block. I think of all these patterns, this might be the most beginner friendly one, and it's also the one that I am most tempted to cast on soon because I think this is so high impact. This also potentially could be a fun scrap yarn project. This is knitted with fingering weight yarn and it's recommended to knit this with cotton, I think, for a bit of structure, and it's knitted with a very small hook, a 2mm hook. Moving on to another Studio Clara pattern that is less beginner friendly but no less eye-catching. This is the 222 sweater. I'm really drawn to the fit of the sweater. First of all, I am a sucker for a quarter zip, but I also love the vertical stripe detail here. This pattern uses quite an advanced stitch technique. It uses a 2-color brioche technique that has been modified to give the appearance of 2x2 ribbing. It's available in sizes extra small up to 5XL, and it recommends worsted weight yarn on 5mm needles. I have one more from Studio Clara. This is the tomato sweater, but this is more of a stand-in or a placeholder for an idea of a sweater. I'll quickly run through the specifics of this exact pattern if you're interested. So the sweater again is available in sizes extra small up to 5XL. It's knitted with worsted weight yarn on 5mm needles, and the tomato motif is done with duplicate stitching at the end. And this is a very cute sweater pattern, but I wanted to put this in here so I could talk about the wider idea of knitting a plain sweater and then duplicate stitching any sort of motif onto it at the end. I've seen a few TikToks of people showing off their super unique creations where they've just took like petite knit plain sweater patterns and then they've duplicate stitched on. I saw one that was like a sardine can, one that was a Pirello tin of olives. I'll hopefully be able to find the TikTok to put in here, but there are so many options here. And I think here you've got the opportunity to create something that is completely unique and very you. You can find so many duplicate stitching colorwork charts available on Pinterest, but there's also a website called ChartMinder where you can view other people's charts that they created, but you can also upload an image and it will generate a chart for you based off the image. And you can go in and adjust it, and you can mark off each square one by one as you do them. It's very good. Highly recommend. I had to put one sock knitting pattern in here. I am not a sock knitter, but I know that there are plenty of people out there who are. And this pattern, or indeed set 3 patterns, was too good to not share. This is the Fisherfolk's Fancy sock set by Stone Knits, and it is a set of 3 sea-themed fingering weight sock patterns. The socks are available in 3 sizes, and you have one pair of socks with crabs, one with lobsters, and one with sardines. I am like fully taken by this trend of like sea creature stuff. Has anyone else noticed this trend? Like there's so much like sardine and lobster themed clothing out there at the moment. Like the lobster sweater by Juicy Loose, I kept seeing that all over TikTok. And then more broadly, I've seen a lot of like tattoos of sardines and of sardine cans inspired by like the aesthetic of those sardines from Porto. But yeah, what can I say? I'm into it. If you are someone that likes wearing funky socks, or you have someone in your life that likes to wear funky socks and you're looking for a cool gift knit for them, this could be the pattern. If you're looking for a colorwork pattern that is a similar knitting experience to a pair of socks but isn't a pair of socks, I think I found just the thing. This is the Pomona Bottle Bag by the designer Matilda Marcher. This is a bag shaped to just fit your water bottle in it with a cute strawberry motif all over it. The designer also has a matching sweater, and the pictures are of someone wearing the sweater with the bottle bag together, and it just looks adorable. I say the knitting experience looks similar to a sock because you're knitting this small tube with fingering weight yarn and small needles, and this would be such a cute bag to rock up to a picnic wearing. Our penultimate pattern is the most impressive scarf that I have ever seen. This is the Four Seasons scarf by Katharina Kuntz. It is knitted with tiny needles, 2mm needles and fingering weight yarn, but the motifs on this are just incredible. The scarf is split into 4 seasons with motifs related to each season in each segment. Similarly to the sausage dog scarf, this is also reversible. Although it's not expressly mentioned in the Ravelry page, I believe that this is also double knitted to give the reversible effect. And one more pattern, the Inca Sweater by Lynette. I was umming and ahhing on whether or not to put this pattern in this video because I think it is wavering towards more traditional colourwork knitting patterns, but I think especially the colour choices in the pattern photos of the bright blue and the bright red make this piece look very modern. I think repetitive pattern like this can also end up being quite mindless to knit. As soon as you've memorised the chart, you don't really need to refer back to it, and I really like the thick ribbed details on the collar and the cuff as well. This pattern is knitted with DK weight yarn and 4.5mm needles, and the size range goes from XXS up to 2XL. The pattern page itself even references inspiration from the 60s and the 70s with the sweater, so if you're looking for a super timeless piece, this could be the one to go for. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your favourite pattern on this list was, and if you have any similar pattern recommendations to share, please do. Thank you again to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out in the link in the description. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!